Welcome, everybody. So glad you're here. Some of you were probably listening to CJ this morning in the space, and you're rejoining us to get a follow-up and another once-over of what's going on. I got to know CJ through different Discords and different projects. Since I came into the space, I came into the space in, May. And, I started running into him in different Discords like AI Art House and the Deadheads. And from my experience with CJ, he's been nothing but helpful and a positive person to have around in your Discord and very helpful. So my experience with him was, positive in general. And I heard his pitch on our show, The Pamp Tank, which we do on Thursday nights. And he came on last week and pitched Solon to us. And I was really blown away by all the different facets to the project. I am not a DeFi wizard. I am extremely new. I'm a 45-year-old man. And so all of this is really new. I've of course been in NFTs since May, and I've been in crypto a little bit longer than that. I've been a holder of crypto for probably 5 years or so. But other than that, it's all very new. So when I heard about this project from CJ, I was just like, yes, this is something I want to be a part of. This is something that the world needs. And so that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And he's pretty much just going to let it rip. One of the other parts of this project that, of course, perked my interest was the NFT aspect. So CJ, if you could just launch with the NFT aspect to this, because I know a lot of us in here are NFT heads. So if you could just kind of like launch with that, and then anybody raise your hand, come up to the top, ask questions. No question is stupid. No question is too ridiculous. We need them, because if you have the question, there's a really good chance that somebody out in the space also has the same question. So please do not be shy.
100%. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that intro. But so our protocol is largely divided up into 3 separate parts. We have our automated market maker, which is our decentralized exchange, which is an exchange like a platform like Uniswap or Balancer or SushiSwap. Then we have our NFT Marketplace. And finally, we have our hardware product. So I'll start off with the NFT Marketplace. So our NFT Marketplace is going to be the first decentralized NFT Marketplace with rentable and fractional NFTs. Why this is important is because obviously everyone wants to be able to have and be able to make an income off their NFTs without having to sell their NFTs. So what's really huge in this space here is now, in order to profit off your NFTs, you don't have to sell them. So for example, if I'm a VFriend and I own a VFriend, and I'm not going to be able to attend VCon this year, so I'm debating selling my VFriend because that was the original purpose of VFriends, although it's much larger than that, and I won't be able to attend VCon. But now using our protocol, these people will be able to rent out their NFTs. So someone else can go to VCon and they can pay you, let's say 5 ETH, for example, be able to use your NFT to gain access to VCon, and you don't have to sell the NFT, so you can go the year after that. That's obviously just one specific example. But another example is rentable NFTs are what the NFT industry really needs to take off, because eventually things like season tickets are going to be NFTs. And let's say you're not going to show up to 50% of the game, so you're really debating whether or not you sell your season ticket NFT. But now using our protocol, you can just rent out your NFT for the games you're not going to be there, and you can make money off your NFT. And so that's what's really huge there. But we also have the fractional ownership application. So for example, if you want to invest in an ecosystem or an NFT project like VFriends, but the floor in VFriends right now is like 18 Ethereum, and it's too high of an entry price for you, you can purchase a fractional version of it. And that allows you to essentially go with the gains of the NFT. You will produce the same percent return, but the benefit there is you don't have to purchase the entire NFT, although there won't be the utility attached to it because it's represented by a cryptocurrency, your share. This is really cool because all this ties back into our other ecosystem, our exchange, which we're creating basically the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds. And because we have these fractional NFTs, it also allows people to create funds that invest in NFTs and that are liquid positions they can exit at any time because we have fractional NFTs. Back to the NFT marketplace. Our decentralized NFT marketplace will also be the first marketplace without any protocol fees, meaning there's a 0% fee. Like you see on OpenSea right now, they have a 2.5% fee. Ours is a 0% fee. The artists can still have a fee on their collection, but where our protocol makes money, which obviously you got to be wondering, why does our cryptocurrency have value? Where does the protocol make money? It's through the decentralized exchange side, because all these fractional NFTs, for example, are represented by cryptocurrencies, and the liquidity for them will be provided through our decentralized exchange. So every time someone trades a fractional NFT in our marketplace, a tiny fee, 0.1%, 0.3%, or 1%, depending on how limited the asset is, goes to the exchange protocol. So that goes back to the people essentially loaning it out. So that's where we make money. We make money there. And obviously, if you want to convert any assets into Ethereum to buy NFTs, instead of doing it through Uniswap, you do it through our exchange instead. And that's a whole nother fee that the ecosystem earns. So that's why we can have a 0% fee in the NFT marketplace. Now, the NFT marketplace isn't our main product, but obviously it's a really cool product. And it is a main product, don't get me wrong. But I'm big into NFTs. I love the space. I became addicted about 6 months ago. And I love the community, and I really wanted to create a project that would also pull the NFT community in, because there's no better community, in my opinion, than the NFT community. The crypto world can be kind of toxic at times, but everyone here in the NFT space is like really kind, really friendly, and it's all positive vibes. So I loved all that. So I'm going to stop for a second, and I'm going to take any questions that you guys have about the NFT marketplace, and then I'll move on to the next part of the ecosystem.
Yeah, CJ, I have a question just about doing listings, but really quick, everybody, if the room does get rugged, we will be back. We will come right back. We plan to go for a solid hour. If things carry on beyond that, as long as people are available, we'll stay beyond that. But if the room goes down at 5 minutes to the hour, we will still come back and finish the hour. So not to worry, just come back and meet us. CJ, so if I'm an artist and I've created my art and I wanna list it on the marketplace, just what does that process look like?
It's exactly the same as OpenSea, basically, except you'll also have the option to create it you can release it as a fractional NFT if you would like, or as a rentable NFT and all these other features. It's basically, we wanted to make it as user-friendly as possible. And honestly, the best model is OpenSea. Everyone's accustomed to OpenSea. So we wanted to make it very similar to that. We'll also have a homepage to star artists, except, obviously we all saw what happened with Nate in OpenSea. And that's why decentralization is especially important. It's just one example. But basically, any artist can get on our front page. The way it'll work is we have a DAO, so we have a decentralized governance system. And what happens is anyone will be able to say, hey, this guy's art is cool, or my own art is cool, and they'll post a form, and they don't even need to own any of our cryptocurrency to post it. Anyone in the world can post. And then everyone will see that, and they can vote on it. And then if the vote passes there in what's known as the off-chain, then it'll go to our on-chain voting system, where people vote on it using our cryptocurrency. And if it passes there, then it's on the front page of our marketplace. So this way the community decides as a whole what new emerging artists they think should be on the front page of our marketplace.
Now, have you decided on a time frame for that? Like, how often will that cycle through the front page?
So that's completely up to all you guys. Like I said, we're going to be 100% decentralized. So everything at the end of the day is going to be up to you guys, to the users. You guys could do it every day. You could do it every other day. You could do it every hour if you wanted to, but it's really going to be up to when people propose things. I mean, potentially an artist could be up there for a week before anyone proposes a new artist that people can agree on that should be on the front page.
I think some of these concepts are very foreign to most of us because we are not native decentralists. I think kind of the point that the young lady was getting to at the beginning of the space was, like there's got to be someone holding the bag, right? Like none of us have ever lived in a world where nobody's holding the bag. So it's just kind of hard to grasp to begin with, and it's like the ethos of decentralization and crypto is that everybody is responsible for their own things, their own stuff. And when you're part of an organization like this, that's why my normal inclination was to ask CJ, how's this going to work? And he just threw it right back. It's going to work however you guys want it to. So I think that's just something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. So what we're going to do is we're going to release all this stuff. We're going to release the completed protocol upon launch. After we finish our cryptocurrency smart contract audit, what that means is essentially we have a third party come in that has done and looked at code for multi-million-dollar and billion-dollar cryptocurrencies. And they're going to come in and they're going to look at our code and say, not only does our code do what we say it does, but it's secure for you guys to interact with. So you don't have to worry about losing any money when using our protocol or anything like that. So obviously that's really important for us. And that's kind of what the NFT sale is about right now. It's a nonprofit NFT sale and we're raising funds for that audit. But yeah, so at the end of the day, we're going to release this marketplace. We're going to release our hardware product, and we're going to release the decentralized hedge fund model, our automated market maker, and our decentralized exchange. And then from there, you guys will be able to decide, hey, do we think we should have a higher fee on this or a lower fee on this? You guys will get to vote on that. And then with all the fees, you guys can also vote on, hey, do we take all the money from these fees and send it out to all the holders, or do we use it to fund a new artist, or do we use it to build a road? You guys can do whatever you want with all this money. You can use it to hire new development. But obviously people will always continue to contribute. Ben and I will continue to contribute forever. But these are just examples. You can do anything with the money. You could even use it to put it back into the pairing for the Solon cryptocurrency to give the cryptocurrency more value and then give everyone else more value. You can do anything you want with the money that'll be generated through these protocol fees. But what this means for you guys is that money that OpenSea made and Uniswap made and all these other platforms, you guys will make instead. So if you take part in this, if you own part of our cryptocurrency and are part of our ecosystem or purchase one of our NFTs, you will be able to control what happens to those fees. Are there any other questions about the marketplace?
I actually have another. Sorry, I have another question. So I'm that artist, and I'm listing my artwork. Now, am I responsible for providing my own smart contract as far as like how I want the pay schedule to go? Like, what if I'm collaborating with another artist and I want to split it 50-50 or 30-30-30 or however that works?
That's a great question, John.
Yeah.
And what we're going to do is we're going to create a user-friendly UI. So you just input the variables when you create a collection, and then it'll go through on the back end to create that contract. And it'll basically automatically create it. You just input all the variables you want to create.
Excellent. I think that's just, I know, I think some other platforms do that. I just think that's an awesome feature.
How do you guys plan to bring traction to the platform, through NFTs and stuff?
That's a great question. So for the marketplace, obviously we have zero fees. So right off the bat, that makes it much cheaper than Uniswap. Than OpenSea, because OpenSea is a 2.5% fee, even if the artist doesn't have a fee. So it gives more room for artists to make more money, because as the common fee for artists in the NFT world is 2.5% for a total of 5%. OpenSea does 2.5%. The artist does 2.5%. And what that really means is that they're taking 5% of every collection. So now using our protocol, 2.5% is much cheaper. So an artist could comfortably do 4%, and it's still cheaper than just about every collection listed on OpenSea. And then the artist can make a lot more money. So that's the main incentive for artists to come over to our platform. And it's also decentralized. So you don't have to worry about corruption like there is at OpenSea with Nate. And you also don't have to worry about the security of our protocol because it's decentralized. OpenSea, for example, could always get hacked.
Smash that question. Hey. I'll take it out.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
how's
Donuts,
it going?
Go ahead, man.
Good. Thanks for having me up. I guess what I'm thinking about is, how are you establishing the DAO? I belong to another group, Pixel Vault. You're probably familiar with them, and they just recently hired Fenwick in order to, take care of all the legal issues that arise with establishing the DAO and making sure that you're not running afoul of U.S. securities laws in the process. What are you doing on that front?
Yeah, so I talked to a few lawyers and they gave me the flat up answer. Basically, no one really knows what's going on for the most part. So what you can do is really just remove yourself. And that's what we're doing here. Like Ben and I, we have to buy our own share of our own currency. And the DAO will just initially be able to invest in only cryptocurrencies and NFTs. It will be able to do anything anyone wants it to, but that's what we personally are releasing it as. If it wants to go any further, then the community will have to agree to move it further. For example, the community could use it to buy real-world real estate represented as an ERC 721 and then divided it up into fractional positions. So the DAO makes money off that real estate. And then people in the DAO all own a fractional share. These are things that are possible down the road, but they will take more figuring out in the legal world. I know you can establish a DAO to own an LLC in the state of Wyoming and Vermont as of right now, but it gets much more complicated. And really what we can do right now is just remove ourselves from the equation. Obviously, of course, we're going to be cryptocurrency holders. We're always going to be contributing to the protocol and everything. But we want to create a fair and truly decentralized model. Like those projects you're talking about, for example, there's some money either goes to the project creators or the sale of their NFTs is through some sort of other type of organization. There's a lot of variables that can go on there, but we're doing a nonprofit sale, and this is one of the main reasons we are also doing a nonprofit sale is to keep it completely decentralized. None of the money is going to go to us. So we just want to create a full and truly decentralized protocol to essentially make it so there's no one to go after.
Okay, good. Well, thanks for answering my question.
Yeah, again, I think this is the same concept I was touching on. It's just hard for us to wrap our minds around a truly decentralized protocol and organization where there is no head, there is no office, there is no one to go after. That's why when people talk about the government banning cryptocurrency, they could possibly ban ways to maybe cash out, maybe certain platforms, centralized platforms, but there is no way they could ever ban cryptocurrency. Once it's out there, and it's just going to keep going until either the world ends or all the electricity burns out on the planet.
All right. Is there any more questions about the NFT marketplace? Feel free to come up. If you don't want to come up now, or if you know someone who has a question, they can always pop into the Discord or send me a DM at any point in time. All right. So I think that takes care of it for the NFT marketplace. So from there, we'll move on to the main part of our protocol. Now, the main part of our protocol is a decentralized exchange, similar to as if you combined Uniswap with Balancer. And the reason why that is because we are the first decentralized exchange. Well, I'll take it back a little bit before I get too technical. But basically, with our protocol, it allows anyone, anywhere to create a decentralized hedge fund and or to enter a fund. So this all started as an idea because I originally wanted to create a cryptocurrency hedge fund. But that was going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees. And I had a moral conflict because if I created this fund, it turns out the only people that could enter a fund are people known as accredited investors, which means they need to be worth at least $3 million and make at least $200,000 a year, which is ridiculous. And the average person obviously can't enter the fund. In reality, I would just be making rich people richer. And that's not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So we came up with an idea to create the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds. And what it allows to happen is anyone, anywhere can create their own cryptocurrency hedge fund, and it can invest in cryptocurrencies as well as NFTs, and also anyone can enter any one of these funds. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you know a guy And he's really, really good at purchasing NFTs. Every time he buys an NFT, like it does really well. People follow him, but he's too busy to obviously tell everyone what NFT to buy all the time. And also, there's no benefit to him. So using our protocol, this person, I'll give you an example. Let's say Gary Vee. Gary Vee is great at purchasing NFTs, blah, 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 and he always does so well. Let's say Gary Vee uses our protocol. He could create a fund in our protocol that invests in NFTs. So this way, if you're like, well, I don't know which NFTs to buy, blah, 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 I'm new to the industry, but I see these gains and I want to make these gains, you can enter his fund. Now, you got to think, what's in it for Gary Vee? So the way our protocol works is it allows any fund manager to collect a fee off users' profits. So Gary Vee could set up one of these funds where he selects the NFTs he likes the most. Anyone can put money into it. And then whenever you want to cash out, you pay him, let's say, a 20% fee if that's the fee he sets up. And when you enter this fund, you have to agree to that fee. So basically, it creates an ecosystem where for the first time ever, people can be rewarded for the quality of their research in a decentralized way. So like you're going to have people who research cryptocurrencies, and these people who are the best at investing in cryptocurrencies are people that are the best at investing in NFTs. And now for the first time ever, they have a way to not only profit off their own money and their own capital, but other people's capital. So it gives them incentive to create these pools because they're managing the money for themselves like they normally would. But in addition, people can just enter and they don't have to do anything other than manage their own position, and it manages it for the entire vault. And in exchange, these people can make their APY and they just get a cut of their profits. So that's a really huge innovative part of our protocol because it creates this place where not only can you make money off investing for yourself, but if you're good at it, you can make money off of investing for everyone else too. So these pools will be ranked based on their APY, their annual percent yield, and who manages them, and their risk tolerance, and all these other factors. But let's say you're new to the cryptocurrency space and you don't know much about cryptocurrency, but you want to get involved, but you don't have the time to do all the research, but you want to get involved in cryptocurrency. You can interact with our protocol. You can deposit your money into any one of these pools and any cryptocurrency, and then it'll be automatically converted into the assets the pool manager selected. Let's say, example, Gary Vee. So let's say Gary Vee picked a few cryptocurrencies and a few NFTs in his vault. All you have to do is you click on his vault, you deposit $1,000 into it or however much money you want to, and then whenever you want, you can take it out. And then he'll just take a certain percent of what you make. So that's the incentive for him, and that's the incentive for everyone else, because you can have someone automatically manage your money, and it's 100% secured by our smart contracts, and you don't need to know anything about the industry. You can just follow the best people in the industry, the people that do the best liquidity pool managers, the best cryptocurrency researchers, and the best NFT investors. So that's why that part of our ecosystem is really huge and really important. So before I move on to the technical side of it, are there any questions?
Is there a cooling off period when I remove my funds from the pool?
That's a great question, John. There is no cooling off period. Everything's decentralized. So as soon as you remove your funds from the pool, you can do whatever you want with them. Any other questions? Come on, guys. I love questions. All right. Then I guess I'll move on to the more technical side of the protocol. So all of this is only possible because we came up with a way to mitigate the only risk in supplying liquidity. So what this all means is we basically came up with a way so it's possible to eliminate the risk in loaning your money out to a decentralized exchange. So for a decentralized exchange to remain decentralized, they can't hold people's money. They get the money from individuals like you or I right now could go onto Uniswap and do what's known as supplying liquidity. You're essentially loaning them your money, and they use that money to provide the liquidity for people like you and I to make trades on Uniswap. So there's two sides. There's the people loaning out the money, and then there's the people making the trades. And so we came up with this way to get rid of and eliminate a certain risk, and this risk is called impermanent loss. Now, impermanent loss is the only risk in supplying liquidity in loaning your money out to a decentralized exchange. So these decentralized exchanges like Uniswap, for example, give people who loan out their money a certain annual percent return in trading fees. Now, they give them this annual percent return because of the risk they take on in exchange for loaning out their money. So when you loan out your money in Uniswap, for example, you agree to loan it out pairing. Means is, let's say you want to loan out a total of $1,000. So, for example, you do $500 worth of Ethereum and $500 worth of Uniswap token, 50-50. So every time someone interacts with that pool, let's say I'm on the outside and I'm making a trade, and I have $250 worth of Ethereum, and I want to buy $250 worth of Uniswap token. So what happens is my $250 worth of Ethereum goes into that pool, and $250 worth of Uniswap token comes out of it. So there's now $750 worth of Ethereum in there and $250 worth of Uniswap token. So it's no longer 50-50, right? Your position's no longer 50-50. It's now 75-25, right? $750 and $250. Now what happens is, since you agreed on a smart contract to this 50-50 position, it has to balance back out. And when it balances back out, you lose money. And this is called impermanent loss. It's basically the risk you take on due to trading volatility. And it essentially balances with the lowest pairing. So you can think of it as it goes down to $250 and $250, so you just lost $500. And in reality, it'd be more like $380 and $380 because it's bouncing every second. But still, you lost money compared to if you held those assets outright. So this is why people are scared of providing liquidity, why there's a lot of risk to it, and a lot of people get scared of the industry. When you do provide liquidity, you do get that trading fee percent in exchange for taking on that risk. Now, sometimes this percent will earn you more money than holding the assets outright, and sometimes it doesn't. It depends on the assets you're doing it with, and it depends on their price impact. So we created a way to get rid of that risk completely. So there's no risk of volatility, so your underlying assets don't lose value. We do have, it's called impermanent loss. So you can change your level of risk anywhere between 0 and 100%. So if you want to mitigate that risk completely get rid of the risk, then you're going to receive a much, much, much smaller percent of trading fees. So you can think of it this way. It's just like investing in these cryptocurrencies and these assets outright, as if you were just holding them in your wallet. But in addition to the return they give you from you holding them in your wallet, how they grow in value, you also make a small additional percent return in trading fees. So it's the kind of thing like, why wouldn't everyone do it? It's just you're holding your assets outright like you normally would, like your Ethereum, but you also make a small additional percent every year on top of that. So the best managers in our ecosystem will be able to adjust this level of IL all the time to maximize the number of fees you earn, but minimize the amount of risk. But since our ecosystem has this feature, and we're the only ecosystem to have this feature, it allows us to create the world's first network of decentralized hedge funds. Because if you want to create a decentralized hedge fund, what you do is you just throw that thing up to 100% mitigation. So there's no risk in the underlying assets losing value other than the value of the cryptocurrencies themselves. So it's just like you're investing in those assets outright. And then you also gain a small additional annual percent return. And this allows for the creation of our network of decentralized hedge funds because there's no impact on the underlying assets due to price volatility. Now, it also is able to function as a regular decentralized exchange / automated market maker. But we have this new innovative feature that no one has created yet, and it allows us to create this network of decentralized hedge funds. Not only do we have this feature to allow you to directly control the level of impermanent loss, the only risk in loaning out your cryptocurrency to an exchange, but we've also created the first equation for concentrated liquidity with an nth dimensional value function. What that means is Uniswap v3, their most innovative feature is called concentrated liquidity. It's a really cool, great idea that they just recently came up with. And what it allows you to do is concentrate your liquidity. Now, what that means is before, when you're supplying these cryptocurrencies, when you're loaning them out, you're supplying it in every price range between the asset being at $0 and infinite dollars, and everywhere in between is where you're supplying that your loan, your liquidity. With concentrated liquidity, you're able to select the range you want to provide that asset in. So you could do it between Ethereum being worth $1,000 and $5,000 instead of 0 and infinity. The reason why that's important is, let's say one of the assets you're supplying liquidity for becomes worthless. That means the other asset you have in your pool is now paired to an asset that's worthless, meaning it doesn't matter how much money you had in the other asset, it is now also worthless, so you lose all your money. So this creates kind of like a stop loss situation where your liquidity is pulled out if it goes outside of that threshold. And in addition to that, since you're concentrating your liquidity in that range, it allows you to also receive more fees in that range. So you could receive potentially 3 times as many fees. It depends on how you're concentrating. So we have that feature in our ecosystem, but we're the first to have that feature with more than 2 assets. So Uniswap V3 is now currently the only exchange with concentrated liquidity. SushiSwap's coming out with it soon, but it's also only 2 assets. And what that means is Uniswap only has 2 asset pairings at a time on a 50-50 weight for their concentrated liquidity. We're going to be the first decentralized exchange in history to allow you to do it with more than 2 assets, much more than 2 assets. And you can select the percent weight of each asset. So like, let's say if one asset is riskier than the other, one cryptocurrency is more volatile than the other, you can make that worth 2% of the weight of the pool and make another one worth 90% and another one worth 6%, whatever you want. But instead of only having 2 assets on a 50-50 pairing, you can now have essentially almost as many assets as many cryptocurrencies as you want in this pool, which also contributes to the whole hedge fund aspect. This way you can select hundreds of cryptocurrencies instead of just 2. And also you can have NFTs in these funds. And so that's a really innovative feature there. And I'd love to hear if anyone has any questions about it. Hi, what's your question?
Don't kill me. Don't kill me. Yeah, I have a question that maybe you have answered that already, but just a quick question. What you're doing is also about NFTs, right? How
Yes.
do you actually make sure that the NFT is authentic? Like, there are a lot of copy paste on the web. So how do you make sure that the NFT actually is original? And
Yep.
to ensure
This is a great question. So anyone, since we are, do you mind muting yourself for a second? Sorry. But since we are a decentralized protocol, anyone can create any NFT collection on there. But what we're currently working on implementing is creating a way so users can't upload the exact same NFT collections. So every image can be decompiled essentially into what's known as a hash. It's like a numeric sequence that represents all the pixels in the image. You can think of it like it's just a group of numbers that is only specific to that exact image. So we can set up a way so these hashes get created every time someone creates an NFT in our ecosystem. So if 2 of these hashes are the same, then it doesn't allow the latest one to be created. So it prevents people from even creating fraud in identical collections in our ecosystem in the first place.
Great, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Max, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you, sir.
How's it
Good.
going?
How about yourself?
Good.
So my question was in regard to the concentrated liquidity, and this is something I'm very new to and not familiar with. But in the explanation there, and then to the end, dimension. So if we're going to have multiple cryptos in one fund, we're able to, or whoever is, setting up that LP, is able to set up the concentrated liquidity at different levels per asset.
Yes, and they can also do it in live time. So let's say let's say you have 100 cryptocurrencies in your pool and you want to add one more, you can do it in live time without having to create a new one. Or if you want to adjust the weight of one, you can also do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Damien, what's up?
How you doing, man? Good to be back. My question is more around
Good to see you.
Evolved around contribution. Good to hear from you as well. My question is more revolved around contribution. Some may be thinking, or myself, I'm thinking about feasibility with a 3-man team. How do you plan on scaling your team and your human resources?
That's a great question. So Ben right here, I'm sure Ben will love to chime in a second, but Ben is basically handling all the Solidity in our ecosystem. We're going to need to get a front-end developer, essentially for all of our user interface stuff soon. And what we're doing is, as soon as we sell our NFTs, we're going to open up the Discord to applications. So anyone in the community and anyone out there can apply to join the team. We're going to be taking people on the business side. We're going to take a front-end dev, maybe like a social media manager. And then if Ben needs anyone else, I know he's got a lot of the Solidity under control, but if Ben needs anyone else, maybe another Solidity dev.
Great. That was all my questions. Thank you.
Sweet. Glad to hear it. So any other questions? All right, that's great. So if you guys are ready, then I'll move on to our hardware product. Oh, Rob. Hold up. I'm bringing you up here. Hey, Rob, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
I have a quick question. How are you, or how are we going to interact with Solemn Finance? Is it through website, or are you looking to produce some kind of mobile app for the future?
So initially, it will be through the website, and then also our hardware product will be released soon after that. So you can interact with it directly through the hardware product or through our website. And then soon, around that time, we'll also release a mobile application for iOS and Android that you can also interact with it.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Thank you. I appreciate the question. Anyone else? Well, if there's no more questions, I'm going to move on to what might be one of the coolest parts of the ecosystem is our hardware product. So basically, I'm a computer and electrical engineering major by trade. And what I notice in this industry and in DeFi is there aren't really any innovative hardware products. Like we've all seen ledgers, we've all seen Trezors, but those are just hardware products that give you access to a cryptocurrency wallet address, right? They just give you access to your ETH address. So we wanted to create something cool to really expand the hardware side of the DeFi universe. So we're creating a hardware device that allows for anyone, anywhere to purchase NFTs and cryptocurrency with a card. So essentially, you tap your card on this device and you select the NFTs in our exchange you want to purchase and or the cryptocurrency. And all you do is you type in how much of your local currency you want to convert to that cryptocurrency, or you select the NFT, you tap your card on, and you can buy it. And this is without the need of copying and pasting wallet addresses. I'm sure we all know how painful it can be to try to get someone to set up like the whole MetaMask process and move money from their Coinbase or Binance or Gemini, whatever it is, and then send it to their decentralized address and then get to OpenSea, so on and so forth. This eliminates all that hassle. And we essentially integrate that all together on the back end. And the user all they do is they tap their card on, they select the NFT they want to purchase or the cryptocurrency. And if they select the cryptocurrency, they just type in how much of the currency they want to convert to that cryptocurrency, and they click OK. And since that hardware product is also your wallet, it knows your wallet address and it automatically does it. All you have to do is enter how much you want to purchase, click OK, tap your card, and it'll purchase it. So that's a really cool product because obviously not everyone in the world has equal access to cryptocurrency opportunities. This is really cool because, you know, not everyone can afford a laptop or a computer or whatever it is. And also it simplifies the process of purchasing NFTs and cryptocurrency. So, for example, in places like Nigeria, where over 200 million people live in Nigeria, and they've experienced more than 70% inflation since 2008, which is something we can't even imagine here in the United States. You know, imagine losing 70% of the value of your dollars in a few years. Well, our product allows people in Nigeria, for example, they can buy our hardware product, they can tap their card onto it. This way they can convert their Nigerian lira to US dollar coin, which is a cryptocurrency that's pegged by the US dollar. So they can keep all their capital in US dollar coin, and whenever they need to go purchase a good locally, this way they don't have to worry about inflation, they tap their card back on and they go pay for that item in their local currency. It'll convert it back. And they can all do all this with just a simple click of a button.
What size will this device be? Like, do you have any idea yet?
How do you,
so you guys can check
how
out
do you
the,
account for slippage in something like that?
So that's a great question. We gotta. Sorry, I'm hearing echo from someone. But basically, we're going down one of two routes. We're either working out a deal with a centralized payment provider, something like a PayPal, or we're using a bot to autofill these fields in through a current centralized payment processor if we don't get a partnership through like a PayPal account or a Coinbase account or whatever it is, and it just autofills those fields in on the back end and the user just never sees it. The slippage obviously won't be dramatic because everything's going through a decentralized exchange. If you're purchasing a scarcer asset like a really rare cryptocurrency, then you'll need much more slippage. But we can set it up so it adjusts the slippage automatically to whatever is optimal to purchase that asset. So I think someone else was going to ask a question.
I just I like maybe you answered it. I just asked like what's the size of the device? Like what can you liken it to anything that we know?
Yeah. Thank you, John. So we have our scope document, which is essentially like a contract with the company who's going to help develop the product. I'm going to oversee its development. They're called Generate. They're a great group here, and it's going to be optimally about the size of your phone. And it's going to be a very, very low power device. It's going to have what's known as an e-ink screen. It's a screen that only refreshes every time you click a button, so it uses a very minimal amount of power. If we get to this point, this isn't included in the first delivered product, but I'd also like to throw a solar panel on the back of the device. So, for example, if the device dies after a year or whatever it is, people don't have to purchase a new one or change the battery. They can just take the device and chuck it out into the sun and let it charge. So these are all things we're talking about right now, but it's essentially just going to be like a device with a keypad, an arrow pad, a screen, and an X and a check to approve transactions, and then a slot for a card. Are there any other questions? Oh, Max, what's up?
Yep. So my question was in regards, and I kind of asked this about the code and the equation on the morning call there. As far as other competitors in with the hardware piece, it seems like in the accessibility that you're giving it is a way for everyone to use crypto, and I think one of the biggest barriers is the difficulty in actually purchasing cryptos and copying addresses and that sort of thing. And this would basically revolutionize everything. How are you combating that? Can you obviously copyright the device, but do you know of any other folks trying to do this?
We're actually speaking with, so as I've told you guys before, I'm a 21-year-old college student here at Northeastern, and I got into a program that allows me to essentially be off from school for the next 6 months to work on this venture. And I'm in a donor-funded position, and I don't owe the school anything, but I have access to all their resources. So one of their resources is this group called IP CoLab. And they're a bunch of kids in the law school, but they're helping me right now work on patent material for the product. And the patent will be owned by the DAO. So right now, a DAO can legally own an LLC in the state of Wyoming and Vermont. So we'll set it up in one of those two states. But we're also making it so the DAO makes all the money off the hardware product. So all hardware sales will go to the DAO. And I'd like to optimally charge a 20% premium or something like that and have that funds all go to the DAO. It's obviously going to be up to the DAO. But as I said yesterday morning, since there's this premium attached to it, the DAO can use that money to subsidize the cost of the product in certain geographical regions. So for people in sub-Saharan Africa in certain areas, for example, the hardware product could be free and it wouldn't cost anyone anything. It wouldn't cost the DAO anything because they'd be using the premium they got off selling the device in first world countries and everywhere else to subsidize the cost of the device in certain areas. It's just an example. The DAO doesn't have to do that, but it's a possibility that the DAO could execute. What's up, NYC?
So you mentioned the tap to pay and being able to use your credit card to then buy crypto to push this forward. How do you get around the jurisdictional issues that come with that? Like, for example, someone in New York can't spend money on their credit card to buy crypto. Is it?
Yeah,
or
that's
will
a great
it mandate,
question.
somebody to have PayPal, or just kind of curious the way that you're thinking of the mechanism?
Yeah, so it'll actually likely initially be a debit card. Maybe eventually we'll have credit card capabilities, but our hardware product is a direct connection to the blockchain. It's a direct read-write through our decentralized ecosystem. If we aren't able to get a centralized payment processor, then it may be limited in certain regions like the state of New York and things like that. It may not be able to be a working product, but it will be able to work in just about everywhere else in the world. But as you may have heard, Elon Musk is releasing his Starlink. It's actually up and running in a lot of places all over the world. And the Starlink network is expected to be completed next year. So that's great for us because it'll give Wi-Fi for our hardware product everywhere in the world. But it also means that Wi-Fi network is originating from space. So no one's going to know, for example, you're in the state of New York or you're in sub-Saharan Africa or wherever you are.
I appreciate you being straight up and honest about it, because I know a lot of people would have tried to step around that, but the fact that you're honest about it and admit that it could be a problem somewhere, I appreciate that.
Thank you, man. Any other questions? Ben, you want to say anything?
No, I think you covered everything.
I hog the mic, guys. I'm a mic hog.
But yeah, like Crypto Jesus was saying, please come and join the Discord. There are links to the Solon DeFi website where you can learn a little bit more about the people behind the project. They are not anon. Their names and stuff are out there. And like CJ said, he's working on grant money from a university. So that's also an encouraging aspect for me that it's gone through some sort of peer review already. And again, I know all this decentralized talk and jurisdictional talk is important. It can be a little nerve-wracking for people that are new to the space. I know it is for me. We're just hopeful that regulation will come in some form or another, and we're just hopeful that it's favorable and leans toward freedom. But that doesn't necessarily in one aspect, and anybody can challenge me on this. What we're doing is, in general, in the crypto space, is trying to take our money system back from governments. And this is a new thing. This can be a frightening thing for some people. But we believe in this space that it is the right thing, and it's right for freedom, and it's right for flourishing. And this is why projects like this, especially the hardware aspect, is exciting, and we're happy to be part of this community and growing with this project. So we're holding this space to be open and transparent with y'all, and the Discord is wide open, and Crypto Jesus doesn't get much sleep because he answers a lot of questions in there, and we invite you all in.
Thank you, John. I really appreciate it. Something I'd also like to add is a lot of people say like, hey, the centralized side of things, the hedge funds in the real world, this is going to be their competition. But in reality, we are creating competition. We're creating decentralization. We're making things equal for everyone and equal opportunity. Anyone can create their own fund, and anyone can enter any fund with any amount of capital. But it's not only good for us, but it's also good for these hedge funds. Because if you do own a hedge fund, they have to charge 20 to 30% on your assets and a 3% assets under management fee because they're so expensive to run. You have to pay for yearly audits. You have to hire all sorts of employees. You have to pay all these regulatory fees. You have to pay for a custodian, someone to hold your assets so no one at your fund could take the money and run away with it, which is impossible with our protocol. All these things cost a lot of money, and our protocol gets rid of the need for all of these expenses. So, hedge funds don't have to pay for a custodian. They don't have to pay for all these auditors. They don't have to pay for any of these things. They don't even need to be a hedge fund entity. They can just create a simple free vault in our ecosystem and run it like they would their fund. And they could make much more money because they could charge their 20% a year their 20% off what they make you, their profit, and make a lot more money because their expenses are a shit ton lower. Well, are there any other questions, everyone?
All right, then. Well, thank you all for coming out tonight. It's a lot of information. Like I said, everything is available through the Discord. All the links are in the FAQ. You're welcome to come in and ask questions. And if y'all could definitely share out this space just to get it in front of more eyeballs, it would be greatly appreciated, even though we're about to end it here shortly. Also, I always encourage people, when you're in a space with a bunch of strangers, do click on their profiles and do follow them. And if they have a pinned tweet, show those pinned tweets some love, because you never know who you're going to help out. And it's kind of how we all grow our connections in this space and all grow this larger community. So just from me, my name's John. Just want to say I appreciate y'all for coming out. And CJ, you have anything you want to close us out with?
I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you, John. Thank you, NYC NFT. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Jess. Thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure to have you all here, and it means a lot to see you in this space. I know I can talk a lot and babble, and sometimes I don't make too much sense. I get a little too technical. But I really hope you guys can all understand the value behind this protocol. We're really just trying to create like a new way to decentralize all sorts of financial ecosystems. Our protocol won't end with this decentralized version of OpenSea and decentralizing hedge funds in our hardware product. It will continue on for the rest of the time, and we will continue to add new aspects to our ecosystem. This is really just the start for us. But we're here because we want to change the world. We want to innovate in the space. We want to make changes that will actually help people in their lives. Give them real access to financial opportunities. You hear about people every day in the space making tons of money off NFTs. Well, it's not really fair to people in certain parts of the world that can't even get into the space in the first place. Let alone from that, it's just a nice tool to be able to manage all your own finances by yourself and really have control over your finances. It gets rid of middlemen. It gets rid of Ticketmaster. It gets rid of all these things, and it gives you control of your own money.
CJ, if you could, sorry, just going to run this back just a touch. Give us just a ballpark time frame on the NFT and the DAO, and then also on the physical product, and then on the the launch of the protocol. What's a realistic time frame we're looking out for those items?
This is a great question. So right now we're pretty heavy on the development side, and things are going extremely well. So our NFT sale is going to be on Tuesday. Like I said, it's a nonprofit sale. Every NFT will allow you to redeem a bit of our cryptocurrency. 5% of the supply of our cryptocurrency will be distributed amongst the NFTs. These NFTs are all one of one, liquid, artificial intelligence generated artworks that are trained off Pablo Picasso, Claude Monet, Vincent van Gogh, artists, and continue to paint as if they were still alive. But they give you access to also a private liquidity pool that you can only enter if you have one of the NFTs, and it's managed by the team's researchers. Gives you access to in-person events that we will be hosting, and also gives you access to an exclusive Solon house in the metaverse, where we're also building a decentralized cryptocurrency stock market that you can go and interact with all these pools in VR. So yeah, that's really what's going on here. So the actual construction and release of the protocol is going to be completely dependent on our auditor. We've gotten a few quotes, and most of these auditors are backed up for about 6 months, just because so many people are trying to get audits. So we're doing this NFT sale so we can put in our deposit right away. So that time starts now. So what we like to tell people is we expect to release the fully completed protocol in 6 to 9 months. But if our auditor can be quicker than that, then we can release it earlier.
Excellent. And then what's a time frame on having the prototypes for the hardware?
Oh, that's another great question. So you guys can pop in the Discord right now. The prototype is going to be done in December. In January, we plan on sending a few prototypes out to people in the Discord to try and use out in the field, give us some feedback, let us know what they think. And then from there, we'll try to make a more final version of the hardware, V1, and then we'll get it out and get quotes for real production, assembly line style. So the prototype will be done in December. Testing of the prototype will be done hopefully by the end of January. A final version will hopefully be completed by March, and then we'll hopefully start producing it sometime in June so people can buy it all over the world.
Awesome. Thanks for that, man. So just to clarify those timelines for everybody, in case you were wondering. And I think that's going to about do it, unless there's any other questions. Anybody else would like to come up and say something or have a comment, anything at all? I'll give you a second here. All right, y'all. I very much appreciate you all coming out. Thanks to CJ and Ben for spending their evening with us again. I do hope you all come and visit us in the Discord and ask your questions there. Go through the material that's been pinned in the FAQ section. It's great reading. It's heady reading. It'll test you. It'll push you if you're new to this type of stuff. So I encourage you to do that. Once again, my name's John, and thanks for coming out tonight, y'all.
Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate having you here. And as always, hop into the Discord. It doesn't matter if you're interested in the protocol or not. You can just hop in to ask questions about anything cryptocurrency related. My DMs are always open. You can always ask me any sort of question. And yeah, always ask me anything, anytime. It's been a pleasure to have y'all. Thank you for popping out tonight. We really appreciate all of you.
All right, gonna end this space in 3,